Hello everyone, my name is Patrick Paul, and today I want to tell y'all about a little story time. Um, so we're doing a story time this video, yay. The story time is about when I went to a mental hospital. So first of all, I'm gonna give y'all the reason I went. Or at least one of the reasons, because I've been 3 times. So I'm gonna talk about the first reason that I went, or the why I went the first time, and I'm gonna show you some stuff, and then we'll get out of here. So the first time I went to a mental hospital, it was pretty nerve-wracking, as you can probably imagine. But it wasn't scary. At least for me, it wasn't. Some people were scared. I wasn't. I was just nervous as hell. Being in a new environment like that, it's bound to produce some nerves and some anxiety, which is what I was feeling that day. But before I get ahead of myself, I want to talk about why. Why did I go in the first place? So, the setting is at school. I go to a community college by my house. So it was at that college, and I was waiting for history to start, and I was texting a friend like you do on Snapchat. And keep in mind, I wasn't in this was January of this year, so I was still in my depression, so I wasn't in a good mental state. But I was texting him, and we sort of got on the topic of suicide. And I told him that I was planning, or I told him because I thought I could trust him, because he was my friend. I told him about this plan that I had, that when I got home I was going to go get my parents' gun, which they have a gun in the closet. They don't have it anymore, but they had a gun in their closet, in their little mirror table where they keep all their clothes in their room. They had a gun where in there for invaders. If anyone decides to break into the house, they had a gun to protect themselves. Well, I got the bright idea that I was gonna go get that gun and shoot myself while they were not home, so they would find the body when they got home, basically, and my suicide note that I had already written. So I was telling this guy all this, and while I was telling him, he was screenshotting all this, which I didn't think of anything at the time. We were talking on Snapchat, so Snapchat has a ability that you can screenshot. You can screenshot the little. You can screenshot your screen, and it shows you that the person took a screenshot. So it told me that he took 3 screenshots, and I was like, okay. That's not anything new. People have taken screenshots before I do it of their conversation before I do it. So, but then, fast forward 15 minutes later, I see police coming up to the floor that I was on, and they were staring at me, and I was just like, what the hell is happening? So, sorry about that. So, the police walk up to me, and they say my name. I say yes. And they say we had a call from a concerned friend, and would like you to come with us. So me being confused, I was like, sir, the least I can do is hear you out. So I went with them downstairs, and they told me, they said, we got a call from a concerned friend that you were suicidal. Is that true? And I said, well, first of all, I didn't want to lie to them, because chances are they were going to find out that I lied to them. I said, yes, I am. How would you find that out? And they said, we got concerning text messages or conversation messages from you to this friend that you said that you were going to get a gun and shoot yourself. Is that true? And I said, yes, it is true. And they said, well, since you did that, we're going to take you to the hospital. And I said, do I have a choice? And they said no. And I said, okay, I'll go with you peacefully. And they said, okay, we're just going to check your stuff to make sure you don't have any weapons on you. I said, okay, you can check my stuff. So they checked my stuff. And the cop came around and said, okay, we're going to put you in the back of the squad car. Follow me. I was like, okay. And so I followed them to the squad car. And the cop turned to me and said, okay, I'm going to put you in handcuffs. And I said, well, why? I mean, I'm not being a threat. And they said, oh, it's policy. So I was like, okay. If it's policy, then you can do it. So they take my bag, they put it in the back of the squad car. They handcuff me, they put me in the back of the squad car. The cop gets in the driver's seat, and we drive to the nearest hospital. When we get there, the cop goes, takes me out of the back, and we walk to the front, or to the side door of the building. He buzzes in, he escorts me in, I sit down, and a nurse comes in and says, and sort of talks to the officer. The officer explains what's going on, why I'm here, and then the officer turns to me and says, if I take these off, meaning the handcuffs, are you going to be, you're not going to be violent or anything? I said, no, of course not. So he takes them off, and then the nurse gets a blue bin and puts my stuff in the blue bin, my backpack and all that. And then she says, take off my shoes, which I did, and my belt, which I did, and give it to her. She tells me to stand up, which I did. I'm being as compliant as possible right now. So she tells me to stand up, I did, and she sort of waves this metal detector wand thing over me. I'm assuming to check if I have any metal on me, which I did not. And then I sit back down, and she says, okay, we're going to take you to the next room. She talks to the officer. The officer says, okay, blah, blah. He leaves. I go into the next room. She escorts me into what I assume is the emergency room. With, it's a big room with chairs down the middle of the room. And these chairs are not like your average hospital chairs. They're big, giant chairs that lay back, so they can turn into beds, or mix of beds. But she escorts me to a chair. I sit down, a normal chair. I sit down. And this other nurse comes up to me and does my intake paperwork, takes over my paperwork. So they do my paperwork, they get me checked into the emergency room, and, typical stuff that the emergency room does. They took my picture, they had me sign a bunch of forms, typical stuff. Maybe not taking the picture part, but oh well, they did. And so they escort me, or they tell me that they tell me to sit down in a chair, which I did. Or they gave me a chair, which I did sit down in. And then, about 10 minutes later, I decide to call my mom. And I called her on the phone, because there's a phone hanging up on the wall. And I tell her where I am. And she was not happy at all. She told me, she was like, oh my god, I'm getting you out of there right now. I was like, no, Mom, you kind of can't. Because at this point, I knew what was happening to me. I was not in the dark with any of this. I knew exactly what was happening, and I knew where I was. So I told her where I was at. I told my mom this. And my mom was like, oh my god, I'm coming up there to get you out. I was like, in case you want to get arrested, don't come up here. Well, she comes up there. She tries to get me out. That doesn't work. So I call her back, and 30 minutes, an hour later, I say, how'd it go? She said, well, we can't come get you out. So, and then we chatted for about 10 minutes. And then I got off the phone, and this guy walks up to me. And he's a really nice guy. He walks up to me, he says, hey, what are you here for? I tell him, what I'm there for. And he says, oh man, that sucks. And we talk for about, an hour, 2 hours maybe, about everything about life. He tells me what he's there for, I tell him what I'm there for. And we talk about a lot of things that I don't exactly remember, so I'm not going to tell it to you because I don't remember. But the doctor, the psychiatrist, or the admitting doctor, comes up to me, says, follow me please, so I did. And I follow her, and we go into this room, and I sit down. See, first question out of her mouth, why here? And so I tell her what happened, what happened, and she says, well, how have you been in the last couple of weeks or months? And I said, oh, I'm just down, and yes, I was suicidal. Yes, I was gonna get the gun and kill myself. And so she says, well, I'm going to admit you. Is that okay with you? And I said, do I have a choice? And she says, no. So I said, okay. And so she says, I'm going to admit you. They're going to come get you when we have a room available. So I say, okay. Anything else? Nothing else. So he lets me leave. I come out of the room. The guy I was talking to is there, sitting by the phones, and I go up to him and I say, hey, I'm being admitted. He says, oh, okay. And so I say, can you kind of excuse me, I need to make a phone call. So I make a phone call to my mom. I tell her I'm getting admitted. Oh boy, she's not happy at all. So she is not happy. My mom is not happy, but she kind of understands that she can't, get me out of this. So a few hours pass, and this is in the evening time. So I got it. I was taken there at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, or 5 o'clock in the evening. So a nurse comes, or a tech. I should say a tech. I think it was a tech. But a tech comes and picks up my bag with my blue box and sort of says, okay, we're ready for you. So I walk out of the emergency room with them, and we're walking through the courtyard and all that. And it's a silent walk because none of us really have much to say to each other, so it's silent. And I walk with him into this building marked Unit 7. And so he tells me to sit down. I sit down. He puts my box up on the table. He cuts into the box, or another tech comes and cuts into the box, and she sort of introduces herself. She says, hi, my name is blah blah. I say, hi, my name is blah. And so we get all the introductions out of the way, and then she sort of does all the paperwork, filing through what I had with me, writing it down on a piece of paper because they have to document everything you had with you when you came in. So they documented my bag, they went through it, they documented on my laptop, because I had my laptop with me, my notebooks, all that. They said, okay, we're going to put this up in the cabinet. I said, okay. And then they say, oh, we're going to do a skin graft on you. And I'm like, what's a skin graft? So we go into a bathroom, and they order me, or they don't order me, they ask me politely to take off my shirt, which I did. They checked my skin, make sure I didn't have any scars. They noted down what scars I have. I do have scars from maybe being premature, so they noted that down. And then they told me to put my shirt back on, and they told me to take off my pants, which I did. And they know all my scars, which I had some. They noted that down. They told me to take off my underwear. I'm a little embarrassed, not gonna lie, but I did. They told me to bend over and cough, which I did. I knew what this was. My boyfriend at the time was locked up, so I knew this procedure. I knew they were checking in my, they were checking everywhere to make sure I didn't have anything on me that I could use to hurt myself, because this was a mental hospital. I knew what I was getting myself into, guys. So we do all the paperwork. Well, they do all the paperwork. Well, we get out of the bathroom. Well, before we get out of the bathroom, they tell me to put these on, and I have them right here. These are the scrubs that they give you. It's literally, yeah, I'll turn on the light. It's scrubs. They give you these to put on, to put on. So they gave me those, and I put them on. They gave me socks. I put those on. Here, I'll get the socks. One second. So they get the socks, and they tell me to put them on, which I did. It's socks because you can't have any shoes in there. At least I didn't bring any shoes with me. So they gave me these socks, which it's a little smiley face, stay happy kind of thing. So they gave me those. I put those on, and then they tell me. And then they send me to my room. They say you're gonna have the bed on the wall, next to the window. So I was like, okay. I go in, and I kind of get a feel for the place, because I know I'm gonna be staying here for at least 3 days. So I get a feel for the place, and then I go out and I call my mom on the phone, and I say, hey, I'm, they moved me to a unit, I have a bed, and my mom says, oh great, well, tonight's visitation night. I looked that up. They told me that tonight was visitation night, so we're gonna come visit you if that's okay. I say, oh, that's fine. So, an hour or two passes. Well, actually, I get off the phone after talking with her for another 5 minutes. I sit down on the chair in the common room, because they have a common room, and the common room is like, it's a square room. There's a TV on one side. There's two couches in front of the TV, because it's like this. Like, the TV right here, the two couches are right here, and then there's chairs surrounding the room, or the two couches. So I sit down, I start talking with the other patients, and I sort of, say, hey, I'm there because I talked to my friend about suicide, and they were like, oh, poor thing, and they were like, all, sappy and sad and stuff, taking pity on me, and I was like, oh, okay. And so after that, we talked, and we watched TV and stuff, And then visitation time comes, and my parents come. We have a long chat. Visitation is about an hour and 30 minutes. Long. What, how long, I can't remember. I think it was only an hour long, or maybe it might have been an hour and 30. But I think it was an hour and 30 because it was from 7 o'clock. No, it was an hour. It was from 7:30 to 8:30, I believe, if I remember correctly. So we talk about everything, and they leave, and then I sort of talk with the patient, and then I go in my room, and I start writing in this journal that they gave me, because they gave me a folder that had the rules and regulations of the hospital, a little journal notebook, and that's about it. And they gave me a pencil, because you're not allowed to have pens in there. So they gave me a little tiny pencil, and I start writing down in the journal about various things, and why I thought it was there, why I thought I deserved to be there, because I did think I deserved to be there. I mean, I told a friend that I was gonna kill myself. You know, that's what they send you when you tell them you're gonna kill yourself. So I knew that I needed to be there. That night, I couldn't sleep, so I went up to the nurse's desk and asked them for a sleeping pill. They made me sign off on a form that says, hey, I can't remember. They said, hey, sign this form if you want this medication. So I signed the form. They gave me the medication, and it was a sleeping pill. And so I went to sleep. Next few days were pretty much the same thing. They did have groups, which I attended. Next few days were the same thing. Pretty much the same thing. Talking in group therapy, doctor's conversations. The doctor did come and see me the next day, and he put me on. I told him what was going on. He diagnosed me with major depressive disorder. Well, I was already diagnosed with that from my previous doctor. He just put me on a stronger antidepressant. Or he increased the doses of my antidepressant. So he did that. And the next few days were just like the same kind of stuff. It was, honestly, it got routine, and it got mundane, really. So, yeah. Anyway, after a week, I got discharged. And I went back to my normal life. And, yeah, so I can go into more details if you want. About what the stay was like, and what we did, the schedule. If you want me to, I can make another video on that. If you want me to, just comment down below if you want me to do that. Tell you what, like this video if you want me to do that. Comment down below what you think. Didn't like it if you want me to do that video. Dislike it if you don't want me to do that video, or if you dislike the video. Like if you want me to do that video, or dislike if you don't want me to do that video, okay? That's the basics of it. Comment down below what you think. And, yeah, so this week's story time. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all to death, and I love you all to death. But anyway, thank y'all for watching. Bye.